The old man sat in chains, gray-haired and weathered, while the Kraxan Empire's finest warriors laughed at their prize. They captured a human finally, and it was just some elderly farmer from a backwater colony. Their mistake would cost them everything. Emperor Zarnox towered over his prisoner in the grand throne room, his crystalline form refracting light into prismatic displays of power. The human, Marcuschin, looked almost comical in comparison, wrinkled, scarred, wearing simple clothes that had seen better decades. The emperor's court buzzed with amusement. After centuries of hearing tales about the fearsome humans, this was their legendary enemy? So this is the mighty human race, Zarnox's voice boomed through the chamber. We expected warriors. We got grandfather. The court erupted in laughter. Guards prodded Marcus with energy spears, making him stumble. He didn't cry out, just steadied himself with chains rattling. Tell me, old human, the emperor continued, should we fear your walking sticks? Your reading glasses? Perhaps your afternoon naps? More laughter. Marcus remained silent, weathered hands clasped calmly despite the chains. Nothing to say? Have you forgotten words along with your youth? Admiral Krex mocked. This is what happens when inferior species age, they become even more pathetic. Marcus finally looked up. His eyes, though surrounded by wrinkles, held something that made the nearest guards step back. Inferior. Marcus's voice was quiet but carried. Son, I've lived through 3 wars, buried 2 wives, raised 5 children, and survived cancer twice. You think age makes us weak? Age means we've survived everything the universe threw at us. Brave words from a prisoner, Zarnox dismissed. Your survival means nothing here. You took me from my farm, Marcus continued, standing straighter. Killed my neighbors. Burned our crops. For what? To prove you're strong by attacking farmers? To show the galaxy that humans are nothing special, the emperor declared. Your colonies will fall, your earth will kneel. Marcus laughed, a dry, rattling sound that silenced the room. You want to know what makes humans special? We don't start wars. We end them. Threats from a chained fossil? Admiral Krex sneered. Not a threat. A history lesson. Marcus's eyes swept the room. You know why I was farming? Because the last species that attacked human colonies doesn't exist anymore. I was there. I watched their homeworld burn. The atmosphere shifted. Some laughed nervously, but others noticed the absolute certainty in the old man's voice. You think you're the first empire to underestimate us? Marcus asked. The Yograth thought the same. 7 feet tall, armor like tanks. They lasted 6 months. The hegemony of suns had 1,000 worlds. Had. Past tense. Stories to frighten children, Zarnox scoffed, but his crystalline form flickered, a sign of unease. The Yograth made one mistake, Marcus continued. They took prisoners. Civilians. Children. His voice hardened. We don't forgive that. You're one old man in chains, the emperor roared. I'm one old man who's seen what happens when humanity goes to war, Marcus corrected. You want to know why I was a farmer? Because I spent 40 years as a soldier and I got tired of watching species go extinct. The court had stopped laughing entirely now. You think we're weak because we choose peace? We choose peace because we know what we're capable of. Marcus looked directly at the emperor. But you had to push. Had to prove something. Had to take an old man from his garden. Empty words. 3 days ago you captured me, Marcus interrupted. That means Earth knows by now. The colonies know. Every human in the galaxy knows the Kraxan Empire took prisoners. He smiled grimly. You want war? We will give you war. One transmission from your backwater colony changes nothing, Admiral Krex said, but his voice lacked conviction. One transmission that says the Kraxan Empire killed civilians and took prisoners? Marcus shook his head. You just signed your death warrant. We have the greatest fleet in the galaxy. Zarnox declared. The Yograth had a greater one. We turned their ships into memorial reefs on 12 worlds. Marcus's chains rattled as he gestured. You know what humans call that? Tuesday. You're bluffing, someone called out. Am I? Check your borders. Check your early warning systems. Better yet, check your history files on something called the Mars Doctrine. Marcus's smile was sad and terrible. It states that any act of aggression against human civilians will be met with total war. Not proportional response. Total war. The Emperor's advisors were frantically checking data pads now, crystalline forms pulsing with alarm. Sir, one stammered, we're detecting massive energy signatures at multiple jump points. You took me 3 days ago, Marcus said calmly. It takes 1 day for Earth to receive word, 1 day to mobilize, 1 day to arrive. We've gotten very efficient at this. Alarms began blaring throughout the palace. Impossible. Your ships are primitive. Krex shouted. Our ships are practical, Marcus corrected. We don't build them to look pretty or show off. We build them to end wars quickly. The throne room's massive view screen activated, showing the space above the Kraxan homeworld. Ships were emerging from jump space, not the sleek, beautiful vessels of other species, but angular, utilitarian craft bristling with weapons. Hundreds of them. Then thousands. Every human ship is named after a dead colony, Marcus said quietly. Every captain lost someone to aliens who thought we were weak. They've been waiting for someone to make this mistake again. We can negotiate, Zarnox said, his arrogance crumbling. You could have. Before you killed civilians. Before you took prisoners. Marcus shook his head. Yeah? Now you get to learn why the galaxy leaves us alone. The view screen showed the human fleet broadcasting a single message on all frequencies. This is Admiral Sarah Chin of the Earth Defense Fleet. You have 1 hour to evacuate civilians. This is not a negotiation. Chin? The Emperor looked at Marcus. Your family. My granddaughter, Marcus said with pride. I taught her to shoot when she was 7. Taught her mercy too. That's why you get an hour. Please, Zarnox's voice broke. We didn't know. Yes, you did. You just didn't believe it. Marcus sat back down, chains clinking. Everyone knows humans are dangerous. You thought because we choose peace, we'd forgotten how to wage war. You were wrong. We'll return you immediately. We'll pay reparations. Too late. The war's already started. It'll end when the Kraxan Empire is a memory and a warning to others. Marcus closed his eyes. I'm tired. Wake me when it's over. The throne room erupted in chaos as officials tried to coordinate evacuation, defense, surrender, anything. But Marcus just sat quietly, an old man who'd seen too much war and had hoped to never see it again. Within 6 hours, the Kraxan Empire ceased to exist as a military power. Within 12, they surrendered unconditionally. Within a day, Marcus Chin was back on his farm, tending to new crops, hoping he'd never have to watch another empire learn the hard way. The galaxy had been reminded once again, humans don't start wars. They end them.